Alright guys, so welcome to today's video. I'm going to take you through my bench workout, and this is a how-to on benching. So as you can see here, setting up, you want to drive your feet back. So this is called the leg drive. I don't know if you guys know anything about it, but leg drive is essentially when you're using force in your legs to perform the bench movement. And I know you guys are like really, like legs with bench? But yeah, so here you're gonna once you get set up at the top, we'll go over that. You get set up at the top, you're going to drive your feet back. In competition, if you are a competitive lifter, you'll have to have your heels on the ground as well. But for just practicing, and we'll just keep them, I keep my toes forward. So what you want to do is you want to push off like with your toes. So you're going to push off with your toes. It's going to create a contraction with your thighs, like quads, and it's like doing a leg extension. So how you want to look at it, it's like driving your back, like you want to push your back with your legs to the bench so you stay. The bands also help with the sticking as well. So you don't slide across the bench, because when you slide across the bench, it can get really bad. So once you got your feet set up, there's 3 points of contact. There's the upper back, the butt, and the feet. They all have to be touching to perform the movement correctly. So what you want to do is, once you get, I go halfway on the bench somewhat. Then I get a nice arch in my back. The better the arch, the easier the smaller the range of motion will be. I'm still working on mobility, so that arch will get better as my mobility gets better. But once you do that, you want to drive your elbows down to I would say a 90-degree angle. If you're going below that, or if your shoulders are coming up off the bench, then you're not performing the movement right. If your shoulder comes off the bench, it's pigment, and it's really bad. So don't try to keep your shoulders off the bench. As far as the touching point, right here, we're going to go through the touching point. The camera's crooked. It's not me. So your aiming point to perform the bench is going to be the top of your abs. I like to hit the nipple part. You want to hit that and keep that stable. As far as setting up, you want to put the bar on the bottom of your palm. So once you do that, it'll activate your triceps. It'll activate your hand all the way down through to your elbow, and that'll create a positive motion for you. As far as the sticking point, that's basically where you want to hit every time, the nipple part. Even if you're not a competitive lifter, you can use the arch in your bench press. This is not for powerlifters, it's not for bodybuilders. I mean, it is, but it's not only for bodybuilders or powerlifters. It can be just anybody that wants to get, a good bench. The arch should be used by everybody, to me, because it's beneficial. Rather than a flat bench, you're getting more, using more of your chest. You get a better chest pump. Right here, you'll see that I'm using my leg drive. Every time I bench, you'll see that little pulse in my quad, which means I'm using leg drive to perform the movement. Leg drive is good for benching, and I feel as if it needs to be incorporated in a bench. Not all the time, but most of the time. I'm just gonna take you guys through that. Previous bench session was last Tuesday or last Thursday, and this is Tuesday. So it won't be on the episode. It'll be right here because I'm gonna put this on the how-to video. So here as well, I always like to warm up. It doesn't matter how much you lift. I feel like you should warm up with an empty bar. I also do a couple of dynamic stretching, band pull aparts. You do. I work on my rotator cuff. I stretch out my elbows. I do face pulls. All those things need to be done before I bench personally, because those are everything that's being performed in movement. Also, don't forget to warm up your wrists as well. All those things need to be warmed up. Legs need to be warmed up for bench. Yes, they do need to be warmed up for bench, because once you're doing the leg drive, your legs will be used. So warm up your legs. Doesn't have to be a whole leg warm up, but just a little bit, just to get your body warm. I like to use wrist wraps just because of the for the safety. This is kind of like a safety thing for bench. You don't need to use wrist wraps, but I recommend it if you're going anything over, like pushing your body more for a heavier bench. I would recommend wrist wraps. Those just help with the stability of your wrists, so you don't get injured or anything. I'm taking you guys through my Tuesday workout, which I worked up to 275 for 4 sets of 2, and that's what this is the last heavy bench before I max out next week. But yeah, so let's just do a little like a recap. You want to set up, drive your lower back into the bench, creating that arc. Actually, let's not do a recap. I missed a couple parts. Okay, so some couple other things I want to add to the how-to bench is you also want to have your bar, the middle of the bar, as you see on the video, it needs to be lined up directly in line with the bench. If it's to the left or to the right, it's not going to work out for you. It'll be even, and you'll be kind of doing bad from the get-go. So what you want to do is you want to line that up, make sure everything's lined up. I personally put my pinky on the silver line on the bar. That's where my sticking point is. I put my pinky on the silver line, and it's kind of a wider bench. Honestly, whatever is more comfortable for you is what you should be using, but I personally put the pinky on the first line on the bar. As far as your back needs to be contracted as you perform the movement. So once your back is contracted, if you don't know what contracted means, go to your cable or go to your cable. Actually, no. What you can do is lift your arms up and then pull your shoulder blades back. And that is what a contracted back feels like. So lift your arms straight out, contract your shoulders, like pull them back, and that is a contracted back. So there you go. That's what you have. That's where it has to hold the whole entire movement. So now we can do a little recap. So sticking point is your back, drive into the bench, feet are back for a leg extension sort of, and your sticking point is your top abs. Those are the key tips. Make sure to really do a controlled movement. You don't want it bouncing off your chest. You don't want to use the momentum of your chest. You want to stick and then push all with your chest and your front delts. If you experience shoulder pain or anything while you're performing this movement, then you're doing it wrong, and just work on lowering the weight and getting a better form for your bench. So this is like my how-to video. I'll do another one just to catch on more key points and go in depth a little bit more. I appreciate you guys for watching this, and I hope this helps out.